Hey friends, what's up? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope you're doing well. Today we're taking a look at the new YSL MYSLF absolu. Heretofore referred to as just absolu because it makes me sound less stupid. So this one has finally popped up on the greatest store on earth, eBay. For the low price of, oh my God, don't pay that. Are you insane? Trust me, you don't want to end up like me. But yes, it has finally popped up there, which means here very soon, it's going to be popping up at other places as well, like retailers, discounters, and in eBay. Some more. So I was very excited for this one because it's been a little bit since I've gotten in a big major new release. I also have the new Versace Man Eau Fraiche Extreme, should be here tomorrow, so I have a video on that pretty soon. But yeah, really excited for this one. When it was first announced, I basically thought this is gonna be a fresher myself. And it really isn't necessarily that, but we'll get into that here in a second. Let's go ahead and kick things off like we always do by taking a look at this presentation. Hopefully it's not reflecting too much green. I don't know why that would be. Huh, that's, yeah. The new studio is like almost done, almost. We've got on the front, name of the fragrance, the size, and the house. I have the dinky 40 ml size. On each side of the box, you'll see myself. Looks quite nice. YSL on top of the box. On the back, you have your ingredient information. And on the bottom, you will find your batch code. Mine is 38Z100L. And here we have the bottle. So it's done in that typical myself style, but this one is metallic. So it has this very nice silver metallic look. It is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, which you would expect. And at the bottom of the front there, you'll see the flanker name. Of course, YSL on the front of the bottle as well, and on top of the cap. On the bottom, you'll find a sticker, which has your batch code, and the cap does click into place. And you know what time it is? It's time to spray the fragrance. Pretty good. Now, before we journey into the depths of YSL MYSLF absolu, here are some codes that you can use to save yourself some money. Do pay attention to those JOMASHOP codes as they have changed. Look what they are now. That's what they are. They used to be something different, but now this is what they are. They also only work within the JOMASHOP app, so be aware of that. And also the Gift Express codes. Yes, there are two, one for 15% off, one for 10. The only difference between them is instead of 1.5, you put 1.0 if you want to save a little less. But I have had some people reach out to me and say, hey bro, these Gift Express codes are bunk. They're not working for me. It's a pain in the butt. And then Gift Express says, no, they're good. It's totally normal. Nothing wrong. Nothing to see here. But I have had a couple people say, hey, it did work when it wasn't before, after I went into incognito mode. So just be aware if you try to use the Gift Express code and for some reason it's not working, it's telling you the code is not good or something like that, go into incognito mode and try it there. Every time I've tried the code, and I have, it works for me. So I haven't been able to replicate it yet, but I've had other people tell me that's worked for them. All right, new myself. How is it? Let's go back just super quick to the original myself, the first one that came out, massive hit right out of the gate. As soon as it launched, people went crazy for it. It became one of the best-selling men's fragrances of the year, even though it came out in August. So yeah, basically it came out right toward the back half of the year, and somehow in that small time frame, shot up right toward the top of the charts. That one, real simple. Basically just has some orange blossom, some bergamot, some amber wood. That's really the gist of it. Clean, easy to wear, safe, and a big compliment puller. Then they came out with Le Parfum. That version, basically, a little bit richer, darker, more masculine, a little bit more geared toward fall and winter time, and also evenings as well, which is why when this one was announced with the note breakdown and the write-up from the brand, it was like, okay, this makes sense. You know, we've got myself, the original, that's kind of your anytime fragrance, right? And then Le Parfum comes out, okay, a little more fall, winter, come out with this one, a little more spring, summer. But like I said, that's not exactly what's going on here. So what is the deal with absolu? When you first spray this one on, you get that familiar bergamot from the original myself that comes through, but then this one is punched up with a zingy, fresh ginger note. It adds a little bit more sharpness, a nice vibrant edge when you first spray this one on. There's also cardamom in the top, but the cardamom here is gonna be more like an aromatic green cardamom. It's not your warm, overly spicy, sweet type of cardamom. That's not at all what's going on here. And this one is also noticeably more sweet compared to either of the other MYSLF fragrances. It's not like a gourmand sweetness at all. It's not even necessarily overly sugary, but it does come across with like a crystalline almost kind of sweetness. It still comes across very clean, and it kind of lays over top of that bergamot, and that sweetness is going to be something that carries on as the fragrance dries down as well. As that opening unfolds and it starts to head into the first part of the mid, you get that orange blossom that comes out. Technically in the mid, it's orange blossom and also floral notes. So floral and some more florals. And that sweet floral tone that the fragrance has starts to shift the scent profile a little bit. So that bergamot from the opening, that kind of steps back, fades back a little bit as those floral notes come up. And it actually reminds me of a really popular fragrance that's out there, kind of blended together with MYSLF. And that fragrance is Lafayette Street by Bond No. 9, also Nikos Sculpture, which is pretty similar to Lafayette Street. So it's almost like you take the orange blossom from there, that extra sweetened up type of orange blossom that those fragrances have, and you blend that together with MYSLF. That's how it starts to come across. So it's not like a one-to-one with Lafayette Street or Sculpture at all. It's still firmly rooted in that MYSLF styling, that MYSLF DNA, but it's like you kind of took some of that sweetness from those fragrances, that styling of sweetness, and you went, okay, cool, and you just dropped it right into the MYSLF tub. You just gave it a little blend, a little mix. So if you're familiar with that form of sweetness that those two fragrances share, which also is in some other fragrances as well, then you might pick up a little bit of a similarity in here, just as far as how that sweetness comes across as it heads into the mid. Again, I'm not saying this smells exactly like those, but I am saying that there's a little bit of that DNA in here. And also the way that those floral notes hit for me is like very lightly retro tinged. So not that this smells like a really old school fragrance, that's not what I'm saying, but it does come across with like just a light, gentlemanly, faint retro hint that kind of melds together with the MYSLF DNA and then that sweetness that I mentioned. As it heads through the mid, it maintains that light powdery feel, almost like semi-creamy to an extent. It's clean, it's smooth, it's well blended, nothing sticks out, you know, nothing is harsh, nothing here feels out of place. It's well balanced, even though it does lean more toward the sweet side of things. And it has even like a little bit of a playful edge, even though it maintains that usability, versatility, and that hint of classiness that the other MYSLF fragrances have. Because of that extra sweetness that this one has, it's got like a touch more of a playful edge. As it dries down, the base note here is patchouli, but you're not gonna get any earthiness or anything like that. Instead, it's more like again, lightly sweet, green, clean woodiness that really kind of lurks underneath the floral notes, and that touch of residual citrus and ginger from the opening. There's not much of it that makes it into the dry down, just a little hint. Still fresh, still wearable, just with like a little quiet depth when you hit that full dry down. And from the opening here into the dry down, it is ultra pleasant. Like this is that kind of fragrance that's gonna draw people in, that's gonna get you attention. Essentially, a lot like the original MYSLF or even Le Parfum. It is a success in the same way that those are. If you're looking for something that people enjoy, that pulls attention, that pulls compliments, this is the same kind of thing. And another surprise with this one, the performance is actually really good. The expectation, again, when I first got this in was it'll be fresher, brighter, which actually it is brighter, and it does have nice freshness. I don't know that I would necessarily call it fresher than the original because it approaches things in a different way. You know, the original one was a little bit of a hyper clean, fresh fragrance, whereas this one leans more into the sweet, fresh side of things. But again, getting sidetracked, I didn't expect it to necessarily wow me with the performance, but it's actually really solid. Lasts a long time, much longer than I expected, and projection very good as well. So again, gonna get you noticed pretty easily, projects nicely, lasts a long time off my skin. Easily on par with the original, and actually for me, stronger. In terms of seasonality here, spring, summer, fall, winter, it's pretty much competing with the original MYSLF. Because of course, Le Parfum, that's a little more specialized. Like I said before, fall, winter, evening, that's really when that one is best suited. But the original MYSLF, that's one that people think of as like an anytime fragrance. It really doesn't matter. This one is very much in that style, with one caveat. The sweetness here, it's there in the opening, it's there in the mid, you even get some in the dry down. And so middle of summer, like how hot it's been here lately, if you're gonna wear this, I would probably dial those sprays down a bit just because it does project really well. And especially if you're the type of person that can get like a headache or something from sweet fragrances when it's hot outside, keep that in mind. So outside of that, pretty much a year-round fragrance, daytime or evening. Overall, I feel like this is the type of fragrance that's probably gonna catch some strays initially. You know, it's a new launch in a really popular line that's starting to lean a little bit into that sweet side of things. So it's gonna catch some strays right off the rip. But what it does really, really well. The people that have had smell this think it is absolutely fire. And like I've harped on, fresh plus sweet, people love that. And that's exactly what this is. It's not really a surprise. I mean, there's a reason that that template is used so often, but when it works, right? It keeps that myself styling, that DNA intact with a sprinkle of what to my nose smells like Lafayette Street or Sculpture or even Xerjob Ouden to an extent. Just that, you know, that type of, like I said, overly sweetened up white floral note. That's kind of what it has. And that's gonna be the biggest differentiator between this one and the OG. But as long as you're cool with that, a semi-powdery, at times almost creamy, sweet floral fragrance that's very clean and fresh, as long as you're okay with that, this could be the best balanced, most attention-getting version of myself yet. Approachable, polished, but built to be noticed. That's what this is. So for the people who are after confidence-boosting fragrances, compliment-getting fragrances, stuff like that, this is something you definitely want. For people who are looking for something that is, you know, breaking boundaries, something super new, that's not this. But it does smell really pleasant. So there we go, MYSLF Absolu. Don't pay the prices on eBay. I mean, essentially I'm telling you not to do what I already did, but you know, it's rough, man. You're gonna spend like $200 for a 40 ml bottle and then it's gonna drop at Macy's like the next day or something. Don't be me, don't do it. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me here today. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.